Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Signature Studio Spotlight Series, where we take agents that shine so bright and put them under the spotlight. See what I did there?
Oh, that was good. I like that.
You like that? You like that?
That was good.
Susan, we have a very special guest in the studio today, a Mr. Blue Eyes. Not Frank Sinatra, somebody way cooler than Frank Sinatra,
Way
if that's
cooler.
even possible.
I actually think he might be able to sing, too. He might sing us a little song today.
No way, I can't sing.
We're going to put you on the spotlight.
I
Mr. Adam Nelson.
What's up, John Butler?
How are you, man?
I can't complain. If I did, nobody would listen.
This is true.
They don't listen anyway.
I know.
They don't listen anyway.
I know.
I can tell you all the bag of goods, they don't listen anyway, so.
Well, we're going to put the spotlight on you today, sir.
All right.
So you are one of the top agents, not just in this office, but in the entire area. So a lot of people want to know your backstory.
Sure.
Because everybody's your fan,
Oh,
Not
right?
true.
Not true?
Not true.
You have some enemies out there that have a target
I don't
on
know
your
if we
back
would
or
call
what?
them enemies. We'll call them haters.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll talk about those haters.
Yeah.
So the question I always like to lead off with is, how did you get into real estate? What was your life like before real estate?
I drove a forklift. I was 26 years old and had 3 kids, and I drove a forklift, and I was starving to death. So I thought I was going to get my real estate license and flip properties. Well, I have no money. I drove a forklift. So by default, I tried to sell real estate.
Yep.
So that's how it all began.
And so when was this? This is in the...
It was 20 years ago.
Wow, so you've been doing it a while.
Yeah, I'm 46 now, so I'm just aged myself.
Yeah.
and told us your age.
Right.
And was this down in the Temecula area? Or?
I started in Corona,
Okay.
and I worked at the Corona. I lived in Riverside, but I knew Corona well because I kind of grew up in the Narco Corona area. So I worked in Corona for years at Prudential California Realty, and I just bounced around for a long time. After I went to Riverside, I was in Riverside for a long time. Came out here to Temecula in like 2011, I want to say, something like that, and been in Temecula ever since.
And so you just went straight to the top.
It took a minute.
It took a while to get your feet wet.
It took a minute. Yeah.
And so what was your impression? So back in 2011, that's when we're kind of going through all the foreclosure, the short sales,
Yeah.
but that's right when all the investors started doing their flips and stuff like that. Did you have investors that you were working with at the time? or-
I just was a master at short sales back then. All I did was short sales. I was a listing agent. I just focused on listings and just did short sales. Back then, you couldn't get a buyer in escrow because they were like crazy out there. You know, all these bidding wars and all the investors were buying them up. So I just took short sale listings, and that's just how I survived until about 2014, when it started turning back into a standard sale market.
I remember when that first happened because that was my first time. Like I got started in real estate in the bottom of the market. So
Yep.
when it went to normal and you can actually do a transaction within 30 days, I was like, what is this? This is weird.
Oh man,
This is nice.
it was great because it was brutal there for a long time.
Yeah.
Man. It was hard to eat.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
Yeah.
So you were actually one of the top guys in the entire area. And when we say top guys, we're not talking about making $100,000. We're talking about making over $1 million. So can I borrow $20, please?
I'm charging you interest, but the answer is yes.
He will charge you interest.
Absolutely.
And he will give you the money.
Yes, absolutely.
And he will make you pay it back.
Oh, but hey, I ain't mad at you.
Don't
though,
be
man.
a hater.
No,
See
I'm
what I'm
not a
saying?
hater. I'm not a hater.
Don't join the hater club.
Oh, man. Well, Susan, so how did you meet Adam, and how did this wonderful relationship happen here at the brokerage?
Well, I love Adam Nelson, and he's like one of those people that in the industry, some people love to hate. I just love him. I don't even love to hate him. I just love him. I met him in the beginning of transitioning from being a franchise myself and going independent. And we met through David Serpa.
That's right.
And two go-getter, dynamic human
Can I give
beings.
a shout out to David Serpa?
Shout out.
Shout out. Mr. Serpa.
And so that connection happened, and we started growing and building this actually together. And I remember when we first met, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm meeting a celebrity.
Oh my God,
It's
really?
Adam
Big deal.
Nelson. And Adam Nelson, and I thought you were going to be really mean. And
Where did you get this idea? Well, you had never met me before.
Because that was what I had heard through the grapevine.
goodness.
And here you were nice, and you would have given me the clothes off of your back. But you did ask me every question on the face of the planet in negotiating, marketing. What am I going to do? What do you give me? What's it going to cost me?
For the
It was
record,
like,
that's how I negotiate for my clients too. Go to the cleaners, right?
go to the cleaners.
Go to the cleaners.
Which was real easy. I mean, come on, we're a flat fee brokerage. What's it going to cost you? Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So I feel like since the beginning, it's a match made in heaven because he reflects everything that I believe a real estate agent should be. He's professional, articulate. He would give you the clothes off of his back, but he's not going to tell anyone that. I'll say it.
Okay.
And no one can know it, or you have to kill him.
Okay.
He's a good dude.
I don't know what to say about that.
Good dude. Good dude. He had the same collaboration mentality of let's build something together. Let's have top producers be in the same place. And that was the whole vision. Let's build a place where people can collaborate.
Because, that when I met David Serpa, that's exactly what had happened. He had been in the business for a couple of years. And I'm like, hey, this guy's a go-getter. He's going to be successful. I'm going to be his friend, and I'm going to tell him what I know. And little did I know, he learned a lot, and he taught me a lot, too. So it just... it was a lot of fun, and I think it spread into this office, right?
Yes.
That's exactly what happened, because we were going neck and neck, and
Yep.
but even though we were competing against each other, he'd tell me anything, and so I did the same thing. And if people walk into my office any day and they ask me a question, I share the same thing with everybody, and people think that I'm a closed door and I won't talk to you and I won't share, but that's so far from the truth. It's so far from the truth. If my door is open, you may come and ask me questions. If my door is closed, I'm throwing something at you. Don't walk in. And I think that's where that reputation of me guy comes in.
You should duck.
He threw a stapler at me. Was the door closed?
That's what you get for opening the door.
Should have like a warning sign outside his door.
There used to be one.
There was one. I'm like,
Trespassers will be shot.
We should probably post this.
There was one.
So we're
if the
safe.
door is shut, enter at own risk, right?
So a couple times I had to do it just for the story.
Yeah, we always do things for the story here at Signature Realty.
Absolutely.
So my first encounter with Adam was a few years ago. Whenever Temecula Talk came out and stuff like that, so somebody would innocently ask for a referral of a realtor, right? And so within 5 seconds, there's 100 posts and stuff like that, and so people throw my name out there, but hands down, for my one name, you would have at least 20 to 25 people tagging you in those posts and stuff like that.
That was before the days when they kicked me off, because I got so many referrals off Facebook that they blocked me. They literally blocked me.
Oh.
So, shout out to Temecula Talk for that one. That was screwed up. Haters. That's where the hating began.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Woo, that was a season.
You get too many referrals. We're taking you off. You cannot get clients from
You're
this.
too successful. Stop it.
They had a friend. I won't say his name, but they had a friend who was in the real estate business, and I was getting it all, so they would only promote him.
They banned you, huh?
Yeah.
They played you dirty like
Corrupt.
that?
Corrupt. That's why they hate me. It's corrupted.
Hey, man, when those Facebook group admins, they get a couple of, a big group of people, they become
They think they're the president of the United
powerful,
States. They're just
yeah.
running a Facebook page. Big ego. I hope they see this.
So
like as if you never said this to them directly.
No, but now it's out there.
it's on film. But so that's how I first heard of Adam Nelson, and then seeing all of his signs everywhere and stuff like that. But then my first interaction was probably about a year ago when he called me up and he said, "Hey, you bleeping bleeps, bleep bleep, son of a bleep bleep bleep.
Wait a minute.
Why don't you come make some real money and be on my team?" I was like, wow. All within 10 seconds, I heard every curse word in the book. I was like, that's a good way to start a conversation. So
It's an adjective, a noun, a subject, a pronoun, and a verb.
you are fluent, sir, in the F-bombs, man.
But not today.
Not today.
No.
Not today.
No.
I think your face is going to explode. You can just see it like he just wants
No,
to.
you
I'm
know
holding
what?
it back.
I have to say that for a minute we had a swear jar in the office, and he contributed only a little.
You gave my money back even. When I tried to
I
put money in the
did.
jar, you gave my money back.
I did.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I can't imagine you without a cuss word.
Yeah, when I found out you were going to be on the show today, I was like, well, he does realize that we have to keep it PG-13, and we don't have a curse word bleeper.
You're worse than me right now. You're saying bleep. I'm not even saying bleep.
I know. You're on your best behavior, sir. You're doing well.
Yeah.
So you came here with the sense of and the heart of collaboration, and I think that's trickled
exactly
down.
what happened.
Yeah.
I came here because, when I came at that time, David Serpa was here, and he was like my biggest competitor, but also, I'll say, I don't want to call him a rival.
He was one of your biggest fans, though, too.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it was fun as hell
Yes.
competition. It was fun as hell. And when he beat me, I was like, "Damn, Serpa!" But it was so fun because it riled me up to like go for it. So I'm glad that he was that successful. It was a joy to watch, and it was a joy to run with him. So unfortunately, he's no longer at this office, and I miss him.
Yeah.
Come back, David Serpa.
Iron sharpens iron, right?
Exactly, man.
That's so cool. So what's going on with the office and what you see coming down the pipe here with more collaboration and?
Well, that's what this
everybody-
office is all built on, and that's why I love it here. It's everybody shares. Everybody shares. So nobody will ask me anything. They're all afraid to ask me stuff. But I love to
throw stuff.
Only when the door is shut. When the door's open, you may come in. If the door's shut, it means I'm on the phone or in a meeting, right? But nevertheless, that's what I love about this office. Is everybody wants to see everybody win. I mean, I don't know of a single person in this office that wants to hold anybody back. And I think there's a lot of big players here now that this office, people have gravitated to it. And I think all the players love being around that because, they share and they teach and they learn from each other. And that's why I love it here. Yeah. And the low fees. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Well, so you were at a few different brokerages, so you've had to pay big splits before.
Yes. I've been around for a while. This is like maybe my 10th or 12th brokerage I've been at over the years. Some of them were very short stints because I knew right away it wasn't going to be a fit. But I paid offices tons and tons of money, but that's not why I'm here. I'd probably be here even Susan charged me more. Don't do it. But it's just because the atmosphere. I'm here for the atmosphere, and the low fees is just icing on the cake.
Yeah. And so, talk about that. What are the fees here? Because in traditional brokerages, they'll have a 20% split, 30% split, or whatever that might be, 10%, with a franchise fee of 8% and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What is it here?
$100 a month, $395 a transaction per million.
That's it.
And it stops at 50 transactions every year. So that brings the top producers in. They don't have to pay a E&O fee for the 900 transactions they do. It makes it so it makes it reasonable for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anytime you get a pay raise like that, because, I was at a brokerage before. Maybe you've heard of it. But,
What color are they?
Yeah. Teal.
He was with me.
But a $10,000
Him
paycheck.
and David Serper were both with me at
I
Exit.
thought you meant the other company before you came back. But never mind. Keep going.
That was when I went to Grandma's house. I just had to go to Grandma's house for a little bit. But, a $10,000 paycheck was, $6,500 before I even got my check. So those fees, man.
You know what the problem is? You're a bad negotiator.
I guess so. Thanks. We'll edit this out.
He is a master negotiator with the clients. He does everything verbally, which is against all of my rules.
No, I just clarify some things before we go through 17 counter offers.
Right? Right?
Don't waste my time.
Or yours.
But I have to present it, so if you're going to send it over.
Make it good, make it strong.
So you're mostly, you're all over the place, but as far as Temecula, would you say that's kind of like your core marketplace?
Temecula, Murrieta. Yeah, I live in Temecula, and I do a lot of business in Temecula, Murrieta. But just by spillover, you get business in Hemet, Menifee. Sure. That's probably as far out as I really go for the most part. I mean, I've gone to other places. I've gone into Orange County and all that stuff, but that's by referral, and it's taking care of it for a past client or a friend of mine or something like that. But mostly just here in Murrieta, Temecula.
And you're primarily a listing agent, right?
I don't work with buyers ever. I mean, I have, but for the past several years, I haven't shown a buyer in a long time. I have 5 buyers agents, and I just give them the buyer leads and let them handle it. And if I take the buyers on at this point, then that makes me a liar because I told them that I wouldn't. So no matter how good, I see a lot of teams that are, it's a good buyer, so I'm going to keep it myself. And I think that's so unethical because then you're cherry picking from the buyer's agents, and I don't do that at all. If they're a buyer and they're going to buy today, I still won't take them out. I still give them to a buyer's agent and let them take them out and get their commission check. Otherwise, I lose my integrity in what I promised them that I'd do.
And do you feel like that helps you focus on doing what you do well, which is taking listings?
I'm only focused on listings, so I can go into a listing appointment and say, hey, this is all I do. I'm not out driving people around. I'm focused just on getting your home sold. That is all I do. And so, and the same thing with the buyers. When we tell our buyers that, hey, this buyer's agent, that's all they're going to do is they're just going to focus on finding you the right home and getting you in that property, rather than the real estate agent who does the bookkeeping, who does the marketing, all the advertising, and then shows property and then takes listings, and you get overwhelmed and you can't do all those things great. But if you have people on the bus that specialize in certain things, then it can be done great.
And so how is your team kind of structured? Because I know that you have the 5 buyer's agents, and then do you have an assistant, an admin?
I think right now I'm at 4 buyer's agents. I said 5, but I think right now I'm sitting at 4. So my wife does most of my advertising. She runs the entire back end. She built the entire back end. She's as involved in it as I am. On the back side of it, she just doesn't get any of the recognition. So shout out to my wife, Sonia. Thank you. And then Sonia has an assistant named Rachel who works out of the Philippines, but she works directly with Rachel works directly with my wife, and she does all of our advertising, Facebook posts, open house advertising, MLS inputs, does the MLS inputs for us, and then I just basically go take listings and negotiate transactions for sellers. And then we have the buyers agents who just we bring in all the leads, and they just go show all the buyers. And then once they go into escrow, our transaction coordinator takes it from there. So our buyers agents, for the most part, can just go off and go work with the buyers and make sure they're handling what the paperwork's being done on the back end, and they get back involved if needed.
Nice.
And his TC is one of the best in the industry.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've had her since. Well, I split part ways with her for a little while, but I think I got her in 2003 or 4, and I had her for a long time as a personal assistant. Then when I moved to Temecula, we parted ways for a while. Then she started doing TC work for David Serpa, and she was knocking out the park, and had a different TC. And then I took her back, so now she's a subcontractor for us, but she does all of our TC work.
Nice.
She does for other agents too. If anyone wants to use one, Leslie Hill, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Leslie, right?
Nice. So in a nutshell, that's your team there. You got everybody's got their specialty and they just focus on it.
That's exactly. I mean, I think from my perspective, to do it right, that's the only way to do it. I mean, otherwise you can run around like a chicken and you're not going to get things handled properly. You can be successful, but everyone specializes in something. I mean, you don't go to the doctor's office and he makes your appointment or takes your blood pressure or your weight. He comes in, looks at the problem, solves it, writes a prescription, takes care of you, and makes sure you're cured. And I think that we kind of do the things the same way. Everybody has a specialty that they take care of, and it's like an assembly line. And the clients, I don't think they feel that way because they have their own personal agent. I follow up with my clients every week, every Monday, whether if I have nothing to even say to them, I check on them, and they're welcome to call me every day. But just so they know that, everybody has a job to make sure that everything's handled perfectly. And, it's a lot less mistakes and errors, and things don't go through the cracks when you do it that way. Otherwise, you get overwhelmed, you get pulled in too many directions, and you can't do all of them well. It's not possible. You might be able to do 2 or 3 transactions at a time, but once you start getting past that, the wheels are going to start falling off the bus. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for the general public that's watching this, they don't quite understand what we're talking about kind of thing. In real estate, there's 100 to 200 things to do on any given day kind of thing.
Yes.
So especially if you have buyers and listings and you're trying to do the advertising and marketing for the listings, but then the buyer wants to go out and see, the houses, 2 streets away and all that kind of stuff. There's just so many different aspects of this business. And so what Adam is saying is that he's got it all compartmentalized, like an assembly line. It's a well-oiled machine.
Well, I think the clients are taking better care of that way because nothing's going to get slipped through the cracks. And if they call me and ask me a question and about a piece of paper on a file, I'll say, you know what, let me double check with Leslie. I'll get back with you in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And so I know exactly where to go. I can get the answer in seconds.
Yeah.
And, I might already know the answer, but if I don't, I know exactly where to get it immediately.
Did you have the team set up out of the gate in 2000?
Well, I've done the team concept. So my first team that I set up in like 2003, it was smaller. I didn't do it right. I did a lot of. I'm watching the way a lot of people are doing it now, and they're doing it the way that I did it back then. And I see issues with it, where they let their agents. They take listings and they work buyers and they do their own files and they do. It's just too much to do it effectively. So I did it wrong at first, and I studied it for years and years and years, and then. When the market crashed in 2008, everyone says it crashed in 2008. For me, it crashed in 2005. But when it crashed in 2008, I had to dismantle the team. I could not maintain those agents and be able to take care of them. And a lot of them had to go work at other jobs. It was really brutal. And when I did the short sales, I just had a TC at that time. And then when I started picking up back in 2014, it was time to build a team again. So, I picked up Gloria was my first buyer's agent back when I came into Temecula, started building a team again. So I picked up Gloria. So it was just me and Gloria and a TC. And then my wife got involved in it. She started managing the back end and building it for me and building it out so we can sustain the business. And so we can manage the buyer's agents well. So she built all that out. And then we just started adding buyer's agents ever since,
Is it hard working with your spouse? Like, do you guys have boundaries?
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's not talk about this.
Shout out to Sonia!
Yes.
Remember, this is being filmed, so choose your words
It's
carefully.
very difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. I do not suggest it.
Is it hard just because it's hard to have that separation where, okay,
Yeah.
we're at home now, let's talk about home
we're
life.
in the hot tub relaxing and business comes up, right? I mean, you can't get away from it. So we're, after years of floundering, we're getting better at separating the two. Okay, we're not doing business right now, but it's a lot it's a lot of work to not do it. But I think, lately we've been doing better at it. But it's still always like when that phone call rings and there's something, we're both going, okay, we got to fix this problem right now. What are we going to do? Whether it be the system or with the client or whatever. So yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult, but I don't know anybody who could do a better job than Sonia. We've tried to hire people to do it for her, and nobody can do it the way she does it. So it's difficult because she's so damn good at what she does.
I've heard that about her, is that she's very gifted with that kind of administration kind of stuff. And
It's almost to a problem.
she's so good.
Yes, because yes, she's too good. Yeah, I know maybe you don't understand that, but yes.
How did you meet Sonia?
Okay, so back in 2005, she worked at Tarbell, I worked at Keller Williams, and we had a listing on the same street, and she was my competitive listing. So I wanted to go see the listing. So I went over there, and I thought I'd go check it out. And while she was there, I tried to. Back then, I was at Keller Williams, and you can recruit people over to Keller Williams.
Sure.
So I was at that time. I was owner of the Riverside, part owner of the Riverside Keller Williams office, just a silent partner. But so I wanted to help recruit into that and the profit share system. So I tried to recruit her over to Keller Williams, and then. Oh my goodness! Then before Facebook, MySpace came out in like 2006, and Leslie Hill was my assistant back then. And she wasn't just my TC. And she goes, "There's this girl on MySpace. I'm going to recruit her." And so I looked and go, "Oh my God, I know that girl. Let's have a competition. You try to recruit her, and I'll try to get her on a date with me, and we'll see who can pull it off faster." So that's exactly what happened. I don't know. You know that story, Susan?
No, who won?
I did. I ended up recruiting her to Keller Williams afterwards too. I won.
Double win.
Yeah. I don't even
First,
know.
you're getting the good stuff.
I don't even know if Sonia knows that story, how it went down, but she will eventually when she sees it. But that's exactly how it went down.
That's that master negotiating right there.
Right, right. Closing the
Slick.
deal.
That's
ABC.
nice.
Do you have kids?
3 kids and 3 grandkids, yes.
Grandkids.
3
You don't look
grandkids.
old enough to be a grandfather.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not, but they're there.
Yeah.
And I love them, and that's the way it is.
How old are they?
Luke is 6, Belle is 3, and Jeremy's 1.
Which one's your favorite?
There's no favorites, man.
Something I can trick you on that
There's
one.
no favorites, man. Luke I can do more with because he's 6 years old, so I can take him to places. We went to a Laker game. I've taken him to Legoland, so he can go places. And the other ones are Belle, is my granddaughter. She's just now getting to the age where I can start taking her places. So I think we'll start planning trips to the zoo soon.
That's awesome, man.
And it's a family tradition with
Oh,
his
yeah.
son.
My son would go to spring training every year. So for the past
For what?
18 years, for baseball, man.
I know baseball,
Don't
but
you
what
know
team?
Baseball season starts tomorrow. Well, we're Angel fans, but we go to every stadium to see different teams play because you're already out there. We want to see different teams and different fields every time. So we hop around to different ballparks. So for the past 18 years, I think we've been like 17 times since he was a little kid.
That's
So
awesome.
he's grown up going. So now at this point, I can't stop taking him, even though he's a grown man. And I was expecting, Dad, when are we going to spring training? I know it's going to cost me a boatload of money, and I pay the whole way. Right?
But the seats are always good.
Yeah, we always buy the best seats
I
possible.
love getting the pictures. And it's like, this is the view. And I'm like, oh, man,
Yeah,
that's
so
good.
close. I always buy the best policy. I mean, I'm traveling that way. I'm going to buy the best policies. I get close and we're like, you could tell the blue what's on your mind. You know what I'm saying? Umpire has a bad call. They can hear you. So I always get the best seats.
We just interviewed an umpire last week, Mr. Adam Schwartz.
Yep.
So he's used to all the hatred.
I'm the guy yelling at him.
Yeah. Nice.
Still am.
Right. I'm the guy yelling.
So another interesting thing about you is your fascination with bugs.
I knew the subject was going to come up.
And I don't mean insects.
No,
I mean Volkswagen bugs.
that's right.
How did that happen?
It's
Well,
a love,
it's
man.
crazy.
It's
So-
a
It's
like a
love
passion.
machine.
When I was
yeah.
when I was 14 years old, my mom and dad bought me a Volkswagen Squareback that was a complete pile of junk, and I had 2 years to restore it. Nevertheless, I did get that car going, but then I needed a bug, so I just started reading about them. So when I was walking to junior high school, I always see this oval window bug. It was brown, sitting on the road, so I always had to have one since I was 14 years old, and so I always bought bugs. I've had probably 20 or 30 of them in my life.
Wow.
And just always have had them. And so finally got my first oval window bug, and now I completely have taken it apart. Like literally, it's in boxes. The pan's in one city, the body's in another city. I mean, it is taken apart. So I'm restoring this car.
Is that like how you kind of relax in a way? Kind of, do something that's not real estate?
We'll call it church.
Yeah. Is that your church?
That's where I find peace.
Okay.
Yeah, it's church. Going to car shows, building on it, driving it. Like it takes me back to when I was 14.
Yeah.
It's like being 14 years old all over again.
And you have a whole bunch of money to throw at it, so that's kind of fun.
Okay.
But so
Everyone
whatever
keeps
Sonia
saying
lets.
that, Susan.
But he does it right. Like it's all original stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, let's chrome that piece. Oh, let's make
I
sure.
am, I am putting a lot of money into this car.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not half-assing it. I'll probably drop $40,000 building this car.
Jeez.
Oh, geez. There's 2 weeks of money.
No, but I'm doing it right. I'm taking my time and doing it right.
Does Sonia ever pull back on the chains there?
Not for the most part, no.
She knows that's your passion.
She knows better. There's a lot of things that I'll negotiate on.
Yeah, non-negotiable.
This is really a non-negotiable. It's not, and she knows about it. She knows it's a non-negotiable. So
Right.
she might ask me how much this costs or what that costs or when my motor's gonna be done in like 2 weeks. It's like $3,000 to get my motor picked up. So she asked me how much it's gonna cost, and she winces, but she doesn't ever tell me that I can't do it.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's good to have a passion.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fun to watch. And like at our office meetings and stuff, and the #1 award goes to, and it's a Volkswagen part for Adam.
That's what that translates to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know Samba.com.
Yeah, there you go. So you get all my parts on the Samba. That's where you get all the original parts from.
So are you going to keep this, or are you going to
Oh, no,
get it
I'm
all
gonna
fixed up
keep
and
it.
nice, and then you're going to
Everyone
sell
asks me
it?
that question. No, you got to understand it. This has been a dream of mine since I was 14 years old. It's going to be left to my son when I die. I mean,
Okay.
No one's allowed to touch it. It's not getting sold.
Will it be driven, or?
Maybe on Sunday to the grocery store for a gallon of milk.
Yeah.
It's going to be,
It's not your commuter car?
it'll be in the garage, under a cover. When stuff goes, push it out in the garage and pet it before I drive it off. No, it's not being sold. I've had a lot of them, and I've sold them. I've kept them for years. And my last one that I had was a 66, which is a beautiful car. I sold to Zach Bach, who, he'll probably end up watching this. He's a friend of mine. But he doesn't love it the way I love it, and I want to, Zach, I'm going to punch you.
It's like you had a baby and then just let somebody else raise it.
Well, I had two, and when I bought this one, my wife said, I called her and said, hey, I need to buy this car. I wasn't planning on buying a car that day. I said, I found the car of my dreams. I have to buy it today. She said, okay, we'll sell your Bug and then buy it so it'll fit in the garage and this. And I'm like, you don't understand. It's not going to be here by the end of the day. I have to buy it like right now. And it's like, well, what? And it was a bit of money. So after an hour of critiquing and talking, she finally said I could have it and agreed that I could spend the money. And then when I got home with it, I told her I would sell the old one to make room in the garage and put the money back that I was spending. And when I got home with it, she saw the look of my eye and she said, you can keep them both. But that time I was like, nah, man, I want to go on this one 100%. I need the room in the garage. I'll just sell this one. And Zach Bach was with me when I bought the car. And so he's like, I know what you paid, sucker. So here's a check for your old one. I'm like, oh, man, that's less than what I was selling it for by a couple grand. But all right, dude, because you're my friend and it'll stay in the family and I get to see it all the time, you could have it for a couple grand less than what I was really going to get for it. But the whole point was that it would stay where I could still visit it.
Every other weekend kind
No,
of thing?
Just visitation.
I got visitation rights, and when Zach, when are we taking our car to the show? Right? Or I always call him. You're not taking good care of it. I'm harassing the guy.
I remember when I found out he was going to drive it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a car enthusiast,
What are you
restoring
doing?
cars. I'm like, you're going to drive it
Yeah,
every day?
He was driving it
Every
around. I'm
day
like, what are you doing, dude? It's on Sunday only. To
So
the
funny.
store, you put 3 miles on it at a time. What are you talking about? Anyway, he doesn't see it that way.
He sees it like a car.
Yeah, he thinks it's a normal car you're supposed to drive.
It's a museum piece.
Yeah. Well, that one is not a museum piece, but it was pretty damn nice.
Are you into the Volkswagen buses at all?
I love them, man. My wife loves them too. I got her. She's into Volkswagens now. I try to, not as much as me by any means, but I took her to a car show on Sunday. She just wanted to go see the buses, so
Those things are awesome.
I got her to go with me. I didn't think she'd want to go. We were out camping, and it was Saturday night. We're going home from San Diego through Carlsbad into Temecula, and I'm like, there's this Volkswagen show in Carlsbad. Thinking that she'd say no. Is there gonna be buses there? Yes. Let's go. I'm like, score. So we take the motor home, pull in my Jeep from San Diego, and going to Carlsbad. And now the show's packed. There's nowhere. Where do you park a motorhome? There's nowhere to park it. So we're driving around. And finally, we decided we would park it illegally and just risk it getting towed. Unhooked the Jeep and then drove the Jeep around to find parking, hoping the motorhome wouldn't get towed. But we got away with it. risking the motorhome getting towed to go to the car show.
That's dedication.
I'm telling you, I didn't care. I would have paid the tow fees, but I was worried about my wife freaking out when we got back at his own motorhome, and she knew it was parked illegally, and she knew it was taking the risk, but we did, and it worked out. And where do you park a motorhome at a car show? It was like at a car dealership. There's nowhere to park it,
Right.
and I knew that going in, we're gonna have a tough time parking this thing.
So wait, where was the show at?
So it was a Bob Baker Volkswagen in Carlsbad
Okay.
on Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is this a thing that you want to do frequently? Is this
I
every
already do,
weekend?
man. I go to car shows all the time.
Yeah.
But this is the first one I'm taking my wife to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a higher end show where they had like the really, really nice cars. As a matter of fact, my friend Troy, who's telling me which vendors to use on my bug because he just built a 57, he won first place. So it was like probably 300 cars there.
Wow.
Maybe 200. I don't know. Quite a few. But he won first place for a pre-64 bug. And so I've been following his lead on building mine on where to get the paint done and all these other things. And he's been like kind of coaching me on where to get it because he's made $10,000 worth of mistakes. You know, so I've been following his lead, and he won. So my wife's like, "Yours is going to be as nice." I'm like, "That's the plan." She's like, "Score," because she actually, I told Troy, "Let her sit in it, dude. I want her to sell her on how great it's going to be. Let her sit in your car." And she's in there all. We got pictures of her sitting there looking all happy. So like, yeah, if she feels it, then she's going to keep it, you know, like, not, you know, go along the ride with me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So are you gonna turn this car into the show and stuff like that? So it can
that's my
compete?
plan.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build a show car. Like, you know, if you touch it, I'm going to kill you type show car. That's what we're going for, perfection.
Yeah.
Going for perfection.
So when you take it to the grocery store on Sundays, are you gonna park like way out there so
Yeah,
nobody sits?
Absolutely. Actually, somebody will have to ride with me because I have them sit in the car to make sure it gets stolen. So somebody's got to go with me. You know, it's gonna be like that.
Get a low jack.
No, man, I ain't risking it. Because once someone touches it and scratches it, even getting it back would just be devastating. So no low jack.
And so once you complete this car, are you gonna get another one? And
My wife wants to get a bus. So the next one, I don't think I'm gonna build. I think we'll buy it already done.
Yeah.
So not right away because they're very expensive.
Yeah.
They're a lot of money for a nice one.
What makes them so expensive? Just because they're so
so
limited?
rare.
Yeah.
They're rare. If you get a pre-64, a pre-67 bus, which they have the split window in the front, they're very rare to come by, especially if you get what you call a microbus, which has the windows on the roof. You know, you're going to spend $250,000 if you're going to showpiece car.
Wow.
Yeah, you can get them for $150,000, but they're really, really nice. But if you want something that's show quality, they're $250,000.
Wow. I didn't.
But you don't see them on the road.
Yeah.
You don't,
So
you
you're
only see
going to
them-
give up 2 months' wages?
Someday, when I have a place to park it and I'm retired, when I'm done.
Do you invest in real estate?
Not right now. I used to. I had 8 rental properties at one time, but I think we'll get back into that. I'm watching the market carefully. I've been just at this point in my life, because of what I've been through, I'm just hoarding money. And I've been put, you know, my 401k, my IRA now, 401k, being real estate, but just do that. But you can't really put that much money into it. So mostly we just put cash on the side, and we're getting ready to buy some real estate. My wife and I are just out looking.
So what do you mean what you've been through?
Well, the market kicked my butt back in 2008. It wiped us all clean. Everybody I had that was a friend in the business back then, they're no longer in the business anymore. We just barely got through the skin of our teeth. It was really brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm a lot smarter with my money. I don't need a fancy car. I don't need a fancy house. I don't need bling. I need peace of mind. So I just, you know, make sure that I have the money to live my life. And so that's what I've been through financially, got my butt kicked, and it's taught me a very valuable lesson. So.
And the thing that makes him so dynamic is then in turn, he tries to teach all the kids here that same lesson so they don't ever have to learn it the hard way.
Yeah.
And that whole heart and collaboration,
Well, I've been
that's
through
what I
it.
say, he'd give you the
I
shirt
had
off of his
the
back.
BMW and all the houses and all the, you know, the motorcycles and dirt bikes and street bikes and 2 Volkswagens, and my garage is full of toys and all this crazy stuff. And, you know, at the end of the day, you have to sell it all off when the market goes bad because you didn't save your money. It's not worth it, man. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Tell us about your puppy dogs.
Oh, you got Blue Dog and Martini. Martini's mean. He's my Chihuahua. I love him, but he bites.
He hasn't bit me yet.
No,
He comes to me.
He's
still.
mean, but we love him. He's old. He didn't used to be mean, but you know, now he's older and he's sensitive, and so you got to be careful around him because he's an old dog. And then Blue Dog, my Doberman, and she sleeps with me. I love Blue Dog.
He's a big dog.
Yeah,
Big dog.
She's
Brings
very-
him to the office and
she's
we're like,
very
yay,
lovely.
Blue Dog, Martini.
she's very friendly, lovable dog. very obedient, doesn't cause me any stress at all, 0. So she's great.
That's good, man.
She'll stick to me like Velcro. We call her a Velcro dog because she'll just pin right to my side and she won't go anywhere unless I let her.
If Sonia gets too close to you, does the dog growl?
That's the Chihuahua.
That's the Chihuahua.
That's the Chihuahua. But
Yeah.
actually, it's when I get close to her.
Yeah.
So he's her lap dog. But yeah, he'll growl at me. The big dog, no. No problems with that one.
Oh, man.
Do you stock market?
I just stopped. I was deep in the stock market. I mean, really deep in the stock market. I used to day trade, but I was deep in the stock market, and we pulled out of it back about 6 or 7 months ago. Started pulling all our money out of it. So still having in our retirement accounts, but just the straight stocks, no, I stopped doing that. I wanted to get ready for other things. When the market goes down, I want to be able to buy real estate. We're doing what do you call it, loans now? So right, we do loans. So I just rather be I'd rather be liquid right now. I just feel safer. The market's been doing good for a long time. I don't want to risk it all, so I'd rather go up a little bit more and me not make money there. But I have other opportunities. You know, I have a friend named Mike who does flips, and he hits me up every once in a while. Just hit me up yesterday when he needs money for flips, so I get involved with that. So I'd rather have money to do other things.
Where do you see yourself in 3 years?
Hopefully retired, but it's not going to happen. Here at Signature. Honestly, I see myself here at Signature for a while. My life goal is to have $5 million. When I have $5 million set aside, I plan to try to step out of it as much as I can and let it run as much as it can without me. But I need $5 million. That's my goal.
Yeah.
And when I have that money just sitting pretty, I want my house paid off and everything paid off and $5 million, and then I'll be done. That's what I'm going for.
That's when you'll drop the mic and
hopefully
call it a day.
that's the plan. I mean, but then I don't want to quit working. I just want to do stuff. I just want to work at my pace, but I want to do fun stuff. Like honestly, wrench on Volkswagens. That would be, I would do it for money even if it wasn't profitable, just because it's fun. People say, "Do you make money doing that?" I want to do it because it's fun, not because it's for money, right? So if I'm building cars in my garage and I make a couple bucks, bonus. But that would be my piece. Honestly, that's where I want to be done. But 3 years, that's too premature. I'm only 46, so I think I got to run longer than that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to work until I'm 70. Definitely don't want to work until I'm 70.
Me neither.
No. No.
We're getting there fast.
Just one more good solid run. I think one more good solid run.
Yeah.
Well planned out good solid run, and then that will be that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, final thoughts?
I would have to say that we have movers and shakers, and then we have people that deliberately make differences in other people's lives. I don't have enough words of gratitude for you being here and
Thank you,
being a
Susan.
part of what it is that's been built here. You're a huge part of it.
It's my pleasure.
Very, very
Trust
thankful.
me. I love being here. And just so all the agents know who watch this, just ask me. I'll share with you. It's not that bad. I don't bite. I'm not going to bite. Just remember, if the door's open, come in and ask. If the door's closed, wait till the door's open. I'm on the phone or in a meeting. I have people walk in, just barge in, and I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
Focused like a lion on a gazelle, man.
Something like that.
I just made that up. I don't know. Sounded good.
That sounds like Dave Ramsey. You listen to Dave Ramsey?
Yeah.
That's Dave Ramsey.
You're chasing
Like
the gazelles, yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Well, Adam, thank you so much for being a huge part of this brokerage, the market, this industry. You truly are a leader. We all look up to you. We're all chasing after you. And, you
Bring
really...
it.
You set those milestones, and I know you got the haters and all that kind of stuff. But what's the saying? If you're being hated on, then you must be doing something right.
Yeah, well, Lisa Forrest told me. I forget one time I called her and it was something that I was troubled. Like somebody did something to me, and I told her, "Man, I can't believe that this is happening." And she said to me, "If you don't have a knife in your back, then you're not doing good enough." So, if it's coming from Lisa Forrest,
That's
it's
right.
got to be legit.
Don't we love her?
Shout out to Lisa
Oh,
Forrest.
man, shout out. Yes.
That's awesome, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on this episode of the Signature Studio Spotlight Series with Miss Susan Ebert, ball guy in the red tie, and Adam Nelson.
Thank you, John.
All right. That's it for this episode. We'll see you in escrow. Bye.
Bye.